gotta see if when this is going. Let's see. I hate it when I can't tell if it's going. Because then I sound like a dumbass mumbling. Oh, yep, we're live. Hello, welcome to the Sometimes Drunk podcast. I'm Rebecca, also known as Reason Peason. And today we do not have Mihe, but we do have... Why does it say we're offline?
Uh-oh.
There we go. And today we have...
Supalexi. Supa. I don't know if I was supposed to... Uh-oh.
Sorry, no. I was playing the audience. Okay. Oh, we have two people watching. That's probably me and somebody else. I don't know. Oh, wait, no, I'm incognito.
Good job.
McSiggy says, OMG, clapping. I take it that our studio audience has been approved of. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Like I said, I am Rebecca. With us, we have the wonderful Supalexi, a very good friend of mine. At least I like to think of it that way when I'm looking into your window every night.
Yeah, you know. It happens.
It's a quirk. It's what I do.
Yeah. You gotta learn to live with it.
You do. You really do. And besides, I'm small and non-threatening.
Yeah.
In terms of height. Other ways, I'm not quite that small. Anyway. So, tonight, what we have, I guess, advertised, if you could call it advertising, is that we're going to be talking about art education, both formal and informal, and voice acting, particularly, I guess we can say amateur voice acting, even though you and I have been, in a fashion, paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
We could call it, I think we should would you term it semi-professional voice acting at this point?
I mean, what I do is not really classified a job, but I do get paid for it. It is a scheduled, like,
Mm-hmm.
you get your work, you do it, and then you send it. I'm sorry, I'm a little
No,
I'm a little buzzed still.
That's to be expected. That's to be expected.
Yeah, I would probably call it a semi-job.
I'd call it semi-professional because we get paid for it and there's an audience and we work with a group and that kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
when
It's also kind of have that sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
it also has that sort of like hobby feel too.
Yeah, yeah. So I'd term it like where you and I are most well versed in amateur voice acting because when I was running a group, it certainly was amateur.
Yeah, that at that point it was just like, hey, do you have a mic that is decent and you can say words pretty well? Come and join the thing. We'll do it.
Atticus Jackson here says, "Hey, we get paid. We're pros."
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, that's true, Atticus.
Semi-pros.
That's true, Atticus. We'll go with that. We're pros by some standard.
Proists.
By the way, if the audio isn't quite so balanced, I've been trying to figure that out. Last week, Mihe's was a little too loud when I played it back. So if anybody is overwhelming or you can't hear anybody very well, please let us know. It's very much appreciated. I'm still trying to work out the tech here. Anyway.
It is a show in its infancy. We're still working out the kinks, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, also, amateur voice acting, that's how you and I met.
Yeah.
Yep. That will be, a more in-depth topic for another day, another shortcast. But, we met through some, amateur fan voice acting in the Homestuck fandom. And, Supa, you turned me on to the No Sleep podcast, and that's when it was during season 2 of the No Sleep podcast.
I think it was 3, actually.
That was when I applied to be... Maybe it was the beginning of season 3. I know that, season 2 had just finished, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one I was on the season finale. I think I was on the season finale for something, or the season starter for something.
I know that you definitely auditioned first, and then at this point I can't remember if I waited that long or if it really was like in the middle of season 3, but I had auditioned and gotten a role right at the beginning of season 4.
Mm-hmm.
because that's when they were starting to make like season passes.
Siggy says you were on the start of the 3rd season, Becca. Okay, thanks, Siggy.
A.
A. Oh. When we do the podcast, I start a call with whoever I'm talking to a half hour early, so be prepared for callbacks to jokes you did not hear.
There will be links to them though in the link dump you mentioned though.
There will be stuff to when I get a link dump together. I actually have to listen to the podcast again after that, and then I actually have to get it. I actually have to get this on like iPod cast things, so it's an actual podcast. So right now it's not an actual podcast, it's more a live stream. That's why I've been just calling it a cast. It's a something cast. It's a live cast.
It's a semi-cast.
Anyway, but Supa and I met through amateur voice acting. She has a wonderful, lovely voice, if you cannot tell. You better be able to tell. And quite a versatile actor, very receptive to direction. And you've improved so much since you began.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yep, and you know what? It's like narration is a way different game from character voice acting, but you still have to apply a little bit of that to keep some sort of interest. You have to have at least like a pleasant sounding voice, but also you have to have like aside from the sound of your voice like itself, you have to have like a pleasant way of talking.
Unless you're Gilbert Gottfried, you have to sound pleasant.
I don't know. It's some way Gilbert got. You know what? Have you heard him when he's not putting on the voice?
No.
It's.
I almost don't want to.
It's amazing.
I'm sure it is.
If you've seen the episode,
I'm sure he sounds like a person.
If you've seen the episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark with Gilbert Gottfried, he actually uses kind of one of his more regular voices for when he's doing radio in that episode. And then, of course, you get the usual Gilbert Gottfried voice. You're beautiful, baby.
Oh, man.
Yeah, of all the things I can reference with Gilbert Gottfried, I don't go for Yago, I go for Thumbelina.
God.
Okay, I'll be honest, I really loved the Beatles song in that one.
The Beatles bit? See, I don't know anything about that movie.
Not the Beatles, like the song with the Bugs, the Beatles.
Oh, no.
where she was dressed as a moth.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There you go. See, I know nothing about this movie. I can't even tell the difference between the band or the actual characters in the... All right.
There we go. He played a beetle in that episode who was like super into not that episode.
That's right. That's right. He played like a weird like Lazy Town version of a beetle.
Oh God! It was like Robbie Rotten as a beetle. Is what he looked like.
Yeah.
You know what? With Robbie Rotten being a spicy meme, hope Stefan is doing well. I haven't really kept up. All I know is that his Indiegogo has been going very, very well.
And this episode is dated. Not that it really matters.
Yeah, it's also dated because there will be a date on it.
Yeah.
Oh no, people know when it came out.
They were there.
Yep.
All 2 of them. No, I'm kidding.
Atticus says, swimming in memes. Yeah, you can expect a lot more of that as long as I'm running this show, and since I take care of all the tech side of everything, I think that's going to be how it is for a long time.
Both of us are notorious memers.
I'm a shit poster at heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, my brother is a memer and a shit poster, and I'm all over that too. Anyway, so formal and informal education in terms of art. How would you say that it's been treating you so far? Is there anything you'd like to say to people who aren't looking to formal education or anything encouraging?
It is definitely not mandatory that you go to school to learn art, any kind of art.
Oh man, let me tell you, I know that one. I'm not bitter.
Yeah, it's what you have to know is that art of any kind is a trade. It is a skill. And the only way you can get better is by practicing.
By just doing it.
Just doing it. Just do it. Just
couldn't go a minute.
Yeah, just you you just do it and you do your own research. Like, oh man, I have my boyfriend, he does game design, and he felt like he had to go to college to learn more stuff about it. And turns out that everything that was in his classes he had already learned by researching it himself. So thankfully he's going to be, well, I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, he's, it's definitely not mandatory. If you feel like you can learn more, or yeah, if you feel like you can learn more from college, definitely go for it. It's definitely a good place to learn all the basics.
As a college graduate with a bachelor's of media arts and animation, I can confirm.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that actually a little bit. Feel free to interject as we're going, because mine's been a mix of formal and informal in that regard, you know?
Yeah.
But definitely what you said. The thing is, one of the nice things about the media arts in particular, we're not going to be talking really much about fine art, historical art, that kind of thing. We're like, because we have more of a focus on cartoons, animation, comics, that kind of thing.
If the
commercial
presented
arts.
image isn't.
Oh, by the way, this week's lovely image drawn by the beautiful and great and somber looking Supalexi.
Hey.
Think they're dyeing your hair kind of purple in the ends?
Oh. I don't know. Maybe.
You could do like the sweetest,
It looks fresh as hell, and I kind of like that, so
No,
I don't know, maybe.
I've warmed up so hard to her design.
I know, right?
At first I'm like, really? But then it's like, you see the short, and you're like, okay, I'm in love with her.
She's 30 and she goes boop. I love it.
Well, it is the year 2076. I'm not sure if that tweet has been confirmed, but Reinhardt was able to and has read Homestuck.
Oh no.
Yep. So let me tell you, I am truly living. The thing is, Reinhardt was born last year. You think none of them are going to be memers and shit posters? They grew up with the internet. I'm pretty sure some of them have had crushes on dead people who nobody else remembers anymore through their archives.
Do you think Reinhardt grew up knowing that he would become one such individual?
He probably aspired to it. I mean, he yells. He's one giant caps lock grandpa, and you know what? Since I have no grandpas left, I'll take him.
Yeah.
He looks like he gives great hugs. Unless he's like the Pokemon Beware. Me and Rob I was telling Rob about Beware, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's supposed to be pronounced Beware, but that's like the 6-foot tall red panda looking motherfucker that is very physically affectionate. But they put it nice and soft in the Pokedex entry, saying some trainers have left this world due to the hugs crushing their spines.
Oh man.
Yeah, they tried to put that soft. Hey, that sounds like the sound of another drink.
Hey.
Yeah, listen to that sweet pour.
So, okay, what were we talking about before this?
Anyway,
it was,
I was gonna be saying one of the nice things about the media arts is that due to a lot of how easily accessible you can make your art on the internet, and how there's pretty much a lot of directions that you could take it. I've been dabbling in a lot of stuff for as long as I can remember, actual arts and crafts, knitting, prop making. I'm pretty much an amateur at all these things, but I've been trying to get down the theory and tutorials and a lot of stuff. For someone like me, I get kind of an overload of all the things I want to do versus all the things I conceivably can do. But that's my problem. That's my personal problem that I will get into at some point. Maybe tonight, maybe another night. But there is a huge wealth of knowledge out there, and I think that the media arts is fortunate in the fact that it has been easier to become an independent developer of so many projects in recent years too. The internet has been a godsend for that kind of thing, because there are people that can just start webcomics, they can just make a game, they can just start anything. They could just start writing a series. They can springboard off of fan art, fan fiction. They could just put together projects.
Literally anything.
You and I met because I was doing a voice acting blog for Homestuck. And
yeah.
You and I like went on to do the No Sleep podcast. I shat the bed with that one, but you didn't. I also did Chilling Tales for Dark Nights, shat the bed there too, but not as bad as I shat the bed with No Sleep. But you know what? No Sleep, I'm on call for them. On call. I've only been picked up once for that, but I consider myself on call.
Was that back in season 7, by the way?
Season
if I may
7?
ask? Because I had I'm like catching up because I'm so far behind. It's kind of sad.
When I was called on once?
Yeah.
For heroic duty? Yeah, maybe it was season 7.
Because I heard Rebecca P's in, and I'm like, oh.
You're like, what?
Oh, shit,
when did this bitch get here? She's not dead. I know I talk to her phantom on Skype sometimes, but... And she might post art because she's not too hideously depressed to get out of bed.
Oh.
Let me tell you, I need to get my life together. And that's part of the reason why I set a hard date for this podcast. I think I can get my life together. When we have our 1-year anniversary, I'm going to be like, hey, everybody, my life's together. Anyway. But yeah, there's just so many ways like that. Getting some sort of start or recognition is super accessible. One day there are some other friends, stares pointedly at the chat, that I would like to maybe get onto the podcast. Stares pointedly at the chat again. Anyway, not naming names, Siggy. Anyway. Anyway, but yeah, you know, I've made a lot of good friends. There are some people that I very much admired on DeviantArt back when I was in high school that I've managed to reconnect with through Tumblr. McSiggy says, "How dare you!" Yep. Oh, is the mic picking that up?
How dare. Little dog.
Mm-hmm. I have a theory. If I show the dog that's barking in the background on screen while he is barking, there is no way that whoever's watching or listening can be annoyed that this is the dog that is barking. See, I am in an unfortunate situation where I have a family that let me live with them after I didn't get a job out of college. So unfortunate, I know. No, I'm a very fortunate person, and the only way that I got a job was a pity job from my mom to be her office assistant. Pays really good. But, like I said, that's one of the fortunate things. You certainly don't go into art for the respect or the money.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say. But as someone who... His name is... people are commenting on the doggy. His name is Pepper. He's 8 years old. He belongs to my sister, and she found him under her porch in West Virginia.
He's precious.
We theorize that he is a mix between a Pomeranian and a Papillon, and his right eye is broken, by which I mean that he was born without a lens in it. And the reason that the vet assures us that he was born that way is, you know, he doesn't have any scarring or anything. Which is very, very funny because he had a habit of picking fights with bigger dogs. Like a dumbass. He actually got dragged under the fence by a dog, and Sid had to do a rescue mission.
Ugh.
But Pepper stopped being a little shit, and now he's like, "You better not mess with me, or I'm gonna tell on you to my mommy." Yep. Anyway, that's Pepper. He's the best.
Pepper the pupper.
Yep. Pepper the puppy on. There he is again, because he's still barking. He's excited because his mommy is home. Yep. I somehow knew 20 minutes in Sid would come home. Anyway. Also, but the fortunate thing is, my parents are actually in South Carolina till Tuesday, And my brother is over at my cousin's house taking care of their dog Tiki, big boy. He's like 12 years old. And he's taking care of him because my aunt and her sons are actually in Japan right now.
Oh, lucky.
I know, right? My cousin Kev actually speaks the language. But my cousin Chris is actually at school in college, the fabled land.
Mm.
So, back on topic, speaking of college, that's where I went.
Yeah. And where I didn't.
Yeah, and that's where I got myself 40,000 in debt. Which is now, here's the thing. Sometimes I have a moment of clarity where I say, I'm $40,000 in debt. Not bad. And I have a moment of clarity about that in terms of being a college student, I did get off light.
Mm.
And I am actually
See,
able to...
I know nothing about how bad student loan debt is or what college debt is, and like that just sounds like I need to cry.
My cousin Kev I just mentioned? 100,000 in debt. Yeah, that's actually one of the reasons. So, when I was applying for colleges, I became a very cranky person because nobody is a good person at 18 or earlier. Okay, that's a lie, but I wasn't a good person. I'm still working on being a good person. But I applied to 4 colleges. I applied to the School of Visual Arts in New York, which is, by the way, where John Dilworth, who created Courage the Cowardly Dog, went, and Rebecca Sugar went. And by extension, also Ian Jones-Quartey, whose name I hope I'm pronouncing right, who is her boyfriend, who also worked on Steven Universe, but no longer works on Steven Universe because they're pursuing work on OKKO, which is a mobile game that spun off of his pilot for Lakewood Turbo Plaza Go. Oh wait, Lakewood Plaza Turbo Go. And last time I talked about this, I'm going to reiterate real quick that what I think is great is he did the webcomic RPG world. In the beginning, the hero character is clearly a reference to Super Saiyan Goku. You come, 10 years later to Lakewood Plaza Turbo Go, and the main character KO, is voiced by the same woman who voiced Goku in Dragon Ball. Boom.
Wow. You are now connected to Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Oh, also, in the episode of Steven Universe with the Hollow Pearl, he holds up a bunch of action figures, and there's one that he holds up that everyone's like, oh my god, it's Cloud from Final Fantasy. No, you read RPG World, you know the moment you saw that it was Hero from RPG World, who was based on Final Fantasy protagonists. So yeah, he was like a mashup of Cloud and Goku.
So it's half Cloud.
It's half Cloud, but it was definitely Hero.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so I applied there. I also applied to Cal Arts, which, for shits and giggles. And, of course, I was rejected. It was the only college out of all of them that I was rejected from, actually. School of Visual Arts was in New York. For reference, I live in New Jersey. School of Visual Arts was in New York. That was not the closest one because I also applied to 2 art institutes. It's a for-profit school where you pretty much still have to teach yourself anyway. But you know what? I did go to... I think I got some good tools from the one I went to. But I applied to the Art Institute in Philadelphia and in San Francisco. And so I went to look at all 3 schools. The School of Visual Arts was dope as hell, but you couldn't double major. And 2D animation and 3D animation were 2 different majors. And plus, it was like $40,000 a year to go.
Oh.
Which was twice as much as the art institutes were.
Goodbye.
Yeah. But it was so nice. Oh my god. I kind of wish I went there instead sometimes. Think about what could have been and all that. I think, I would have been there around the same time Rebecca Sugar was.
Hey ho.
I'm not so sure, though. Oh, I definitely would have been if her college film was made 8 years ago. Yeah, I definitely would have been. Someone in our chat is saying I do not understand English, so I do not understand why they are here. Maybe they just like hearing voices. Anyway.
Maybe.
Or trying to immerse in the language. Anyway, so... I did not go to the School of Visual Arts, but it was so cool to tour there and talk to the admissions officer and look at everything that people made. They definitely used John Dilworth, Courage of the Cowardly Dog, as a selling point. I went to Philadelphia to look around at that, and the admissions officer, this was part of the reason why people should be people friendly. Half of the reason I did not go was because of the admissions officer's really condescending attitude towards me. Because the thing is, she goes like, well, you know what this is, right? And I go like, well, no, but I mean, you go to college to learn. If you go into college knowing everything, it's pointless, right? And she turns to my parents and says, typical teenage attitude. Right in front of me. Right in front of me. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know I needed to go into college knowing everything. My mistake. I'm just a stupid teenager. I mean, she was really cool. I lost a ring in a Ruby Tuesdays. She went and got it and sent it back to me, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But the other reason is because back in 2008, I'm not sure how it is now, the student art sucked. So the thing is, one of the things that you can judge going to a college like that, if the student art is good, then that means that they produced some good, artists. If the student art sucks, I'd be suspicious, because if they couldn't produce anything that's good that they could display proudly, then what does it say about the education you're going to get there?
Yeah.
So definitely pay attention to that kind of thing if you're considering going to art college. I went to and so because I live in New Jersey and San Francisco is like 3,000 miles away, we made like a small weekend of it, me and my dad only, and we looked at the Art School of San Francisco, the Art Institute of San Francisco, and I think like after a little bit of seeing the city and stuff, me and my dad both knew that that was where I was going to go. And so I have to say that I did learn a lot there. They had a lot of software that I was able to use that I never would have heard of otherwise. So like that's one of the advantages to art school, is that it gives you direction.
Yeah.
You could look up all the tutorials you want all day, but you might not know how to apply them or how to connect them together.
Yeah, it's basically like you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. It kind of like shows you different directions you could take with your art.
That's exactly why I have been trying to point people to things that did help me, like during college too. So, because I think everybody has a right to be able to access that knowledge if it's there. So, as somebody who did have that education, that's why I like to point out, oh, hey, 2 of my teachers pretty much have their entire, like, courses on their YouTube that they directed us to,
Yeah.
That would be Lynn Nguyen and Andrew Klein. They're both on YouTube. They both have a lot of their classes. They teach mostly in ZBrush and Maya. A lot of it is just modeling, texturing, that kind of thing. None of it really animation, from what I recall. But I learned a lot about 3D animation. That's the reason why I have my current computer, is for the 3D modeling capabilities, because my laptop couldn't handle most of it. I could only half run Maya on my laptop at the time, and that was Maya 2008. Yeah. But also, that's where I get all the books that I have from. Like, I found good book recommendations for my 2D lab from my teachers, Billy and Catherine. Catherine reminded me of my Aunt Nancy, and it was great. But Billy was great, too. I've heard things, like, since I graduated about Billy, and I hope he's doing okay, honestly. But, anyway, the 2D lab was great. One thing that I wish didn't happen was that the school, like, the computer labs closed at midnight. I've had teachers saying that they've had computer labs that were open, like, 24/7, and they would spend full weekends in there, sleeping under the desks and everything.
Oh, man.
But, there were people that are like, you don't confine artists to deadlines, and I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. You sound pretentious. You're not a fine artist, you are a media artist, and your entire profession is defined by deadlines. If you don't keep the deadlines and don't keep consistent work, people lose interest, which is something that I know I need to learn, they need to work on. But that's the thing, it's like, also, as somebody who is a college graduate, who's been kind of guideless, like, I spent, from the time I was 11 to 18, before college, teaching myself.
Yeah.
And I wasn't nearly as good as some of the people that I know are like at the age I was. And I'm just kind of proud if I can like nudge them in the right direction, you know? If I
Yeah.
can provide some PDFs like for download for some people, go like, "Hey, Richard Williams Animation Survival Kit." Yeah. And then, you know, it's just something to go off of. By the way, highly recommended book if you want to be an animator, Richard Williams, Animator's Survival Guide. That's pretty much what everybody will say you want to look at if you ask for a professional opinion on a book to look at. Obtained legally, of course. Of course. I am a sophisticated person who's drinking warm diet Dr. Pepper with warm peach vodka. If anybody's been wondering about my drink of choice. Supa, what's your drink of choice?
Well, I finished it like an hour ago. It was a Godiva chocolate cocktail. There was it was a Godiva chocolate liqueur mixed with oh Smirnoff, caramel Smirnoff, and tonic water.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
It is. You're supposed to garnish it with a whipped cream. We didn't have any, so
You know what you should
I'm
get
kind
one
of sad.
of those? You should get one of those like wafer straws.
Yes.
That sounds like
Yes, I
something
should.
where those wafer straws would be great.
Yeah.
Like that's like making milk like chocolate milk and drinking it through a wafer straw.
In a martini glass.
I apologize. I've been sick for a little bit like a month now with this cough. Anyway.
Oh.
But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like it's got to be a bit harder when you aren't formally trained because you have to bring yourself in your own direction.
Yeah.
But
It is.
yeah.
Oh, sorry. What?
No. Do go on.
Oh, it is very much like you have to be extra aware if your art is getting stagnant and like isn't changing. I remember a lot of it was just, trying to improve. I think that's what a lot of people don't mention when they say it's all practice. It's both practice and improving.
Mm-hmm.
When you're teaching yourself, you want your goal to be to improve your art.
Mm-hmm.
So I would find so a lot of it is experimenting around, looking at other art styles and trying to fit that into your own style, see how that looks, and eventually you kind of mold it into your own style.
You know what? That brings up a very good point. Not knowing how you're supposed to improve and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of artists that are self-taught, a lot of them neglect anatomy and
Yes.
Gesture drawing, actually. Because I see it a lot from more formally trained artists because they force you to do it, and you realize that really, really helps. And so you start hitting up sites like, the Pixel Lovely figure drawing thing.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that. And you just don't even realize the importance of striking a gesture out in 30 seconds, and you're like, how does that possibly help me? And then, but the thing is, you have to do it, and you'll realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually one of the most valuable things I learned was to really get my gestures and my anatomy down, and I really need to go back to practicing that.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're self-taught, you just don't have the scope to know like really what you should work on next, or you don't know what the rules are. So you don't know what looks right, what doesn't look right, or why something doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Or why something does look right, because tutorials only tell you so much and guides only tell you so much. That's why I try to get a good comprehensive list of everything I can.
You know what I found recently, actually, that I wish I had when I was learning. There's a YouTube channel that's just listing off different drawing lessons. They're basically breaking down muscle groups and how these body parts work, and they have, I think, gesture drawings, like they have a live model in a video, and you're supposed to sit there and draw her for the amount of time that they allow.
Yes.
And then a beep happens, and then she changes, and then you got to do the thing, the 5-minute one.
Yes.
And I'll send you the link after the stream. Or now.
Siggy says Proco?
Yes. Yes, exactly, Proco.
Yeah, send me the link. I'll put it in the dump.
All right, let me search
sometime
that up.
This week. You know, when I'm not being a piece of shit playing Stardew Valley, like I will right after this. Actually, I might be a piece of shit playing Overwatch right after this. I don't know. I was actually up until 7 a.m. playing Stardew Valley.
Oh, man.
And I went to sleep and woke up at 1:10. And that's how much sleep I've had today. But I feel great. I feel pretty energetic. Thank you.
Yep. There's also a buddy of his where there's another YouTube channel that I found that also covers sort of concept art, like trying to, let me see if I can find that one.
Okay. I do want to say, though, that, what did I want to say? I'm sorry, it's starting to hit me, man. I'm feeling it, Mr. Krabs. Wait. Having another drink?
Cheers, love!
Sorry, you can't hear it, but I just played my cheers, love! Or, as I learned... what I learned last week is that pretty much saying cheers in Croatian and Polish was the same.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, do you know how fucking happy I am about that?
Nice.
Nastrovia. You say it. I think it would be cute.
What is it again?
Nastrovia.
Nastrovia.
Ah, you did it! It's also last week, I think I was finally able to pronounce Mihe's name right, like their full name. Michaela.
Michaela?
Michaela.
Michaela?
You have to pronounce the E and the A is different. Yeah.
Michaela.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Because Tagalog is very much
I hope they're
pronounce.
proud of us. I did not explain actually. Mihe is not with us this week because she's feeling very tired. Since we're talking formal versus informal education in the arts, Mihe actually just started college this year. Do you know that?
Hey.
Yeah. In fact,
I think you
in
mentioned
fact,
it earlier.
The wine that Mihe was drinking last week was janky bootleg dorm wine. Mihe was telling me that the dorm at the college that they go to in Zagreb is pretty much black market.
Oh, man.
Whatever the student housing is there. But, no. Let me tell you, I love hearing about Croatia and stuff. I love talking to Mihe because it's refreshing to talk to people who aren't American sometimes. Who aren't even part of the American continents,
I can understand that, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just great because I'm just interested in other cultures and other languages and stuff. And I'm very proud of Mihe, actually, because I met her when I was, when she was 15 and I was 22, right? Mm-hmm. So I was still in college at the time, and Mihe was a bratty little teenager. I love them so much. I love her so much, man. And she actually, apologizes to me sometimes. She goes, or not apologizes, she thanks me for putting up with her through those years. Yeah, but it's always really cool to hear about the normal stuff that you usually really just don't think about really mentioning to anybody as significant. This is just a word of advice. Always think about things, this will be a subject also of a future podcast. Me and Mihe are really very eager to talk about cultural differences and perceptions of media. Because what we've seen, what me and Mihe have seen, has been a predominantly like Americentric view of all media, you know, no matter where it's coming from. So people don't treat it like the same way. I believe the trope for this might be Americans hate Tingle and Germans love Hasselhoff. Where it's like, in Japan, they really like Tingle from not Ocarina of Time, from Majora's Mask, from Legend of Zelda.
God, why?
I don't know. Because you and me are Americans, so we don't fucking understand it because we hate Tingle. Because Americans hate Tingle. So, like, there will be characters that are super popular in another country that are hated in another country because of the cultural, like, values and norms. Like Shinji in Neon Genesis Evangelion. I believe that the West hates him, I think, was the idea of it. I think the West hates him and Japan loves him, or it's the other way around. I forget. Personally, I love Shinji because he's pretty much the embodiment of, you know what, him and Asuka, I don't like Asuka as a person, but I think it's interesting what her and Shinji show, is that they are the complete opposite reactions to the same emotion.
Yeah.
Also, can I say I like in Evangelion that they did explain why teenagers are the ideal pilots of Evas? I forget what the explanation was, but they actually did explain it. Yeah.
We'll have to ask my sister. She's an Ava freak.
I gotta watch the rest of like the end of Evangelion kind of stuff. So yeah.
How long has this tangent been going on for?
It's not a tangent if we're still talking about art.
Okay.
And Evangelion was art. Anyway, yeah, we had an agreement to not tangent more than 2 minutes because last time Mihe and I went on a lot of tangents. But, I think it's just part of the ride right now. When Mihe went to throw up last week, I apparently said some beautiful stuff. I remember that I almost cried while talking about it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I was so into my own bullshit. Except that it wasn't bullshit because I was talking about how, like, last week I was talking about how one of the most important things that you can do is show your appreciation because it's so easy to hate, you know? And it's so easy to talk about things that make you upset or unhappy, you know?
Yeah.
Because usually when something makes you upset or unhappy, you, it kind of just builds up inside you until you have to let it out. But when things make you happy, it feels like a kind of personal emotion and like something that you want to keep with you.
Yeah.
But like, it's really important to let the people who inspire you, the people who have encouraged you and all that stuff, it's really important to let them know that you think that they're really great and that their work is like worth something. Because I can guarantee that'll be what they think about whenever they're down on themselves, you know?
Yeah.
By the way,
Definitely.
I want to say, I am super proud of your rate of improvement.
Oh, man.
Because I met you how many years ago?
Oh, shoot. I don't even, like, 5 years now?
No, it's got to be 4 years now because the blog in question I have been running since 2012.
Yes.
And then I quit running
Well, it's nearing 5 years.
It's nearing 5 years, so we've known each other for 5 years. Wow.
Wow.
You and the ever so lovely Siggy in our chat, both of you, I have known a long time, but like you're the type of people that I know where I sometimes forget that you didn't know me before college. You know?
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine, but I remember my life without you guys, but I feel like I should have always had you guys in my life. But anyway, I'm actually really proud of your rate of improvement, too, because that's the other thing. When you can see that kind of tangible rate of improvement, whether you're formally trained or not, the effort that you put in is noticeable. You know?
Yeah.
Yep, and like you've definitely put in that effort as a voice actor, as an artist, just anything that you've been going into. And I know that you actually get nervous about like the narratives, like in terms of doing your comic work. But you've done some good comic work, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely like trying really hard to make comics work because I used to do them all the time and now it's like I don't know what I'm doing.
You know what? I feel you really hard on that actually because I used to be a lot more motivated. I don't know what my problem is, but I really wish I could be the person that I was before I got medicated and shortly after I got medicated.
For me it was like high school came around and it was just like I do not have time for anything anymore.
You know what the thing is?
Hmm.
What kind of high school did you go to, by the way? Like, what was the general atmosphere of it?
Uh, white suburban high school, public school.
Well, I mean, I went to one of those too, but it was a really good one. I'm pretty sure that where
um,
I live rates in, I'm pretty, they like advertise this on our municipal building. In New Jersey, where I live, is rated one of the top 100 places to live in New Jersey.
mm,
And considering how densely populated we are, that's really fucking impressive.
yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if that speaks to like how good of a high school I went to, that I could tell you for days about like the great electives that we had because I mean, here's the thing. I am never gonna say that, oh, high school sucked. I'm never gonna say that because high school was fucking rad for me, no matter how much of an emo shitlord I was.
I'm glad for you. Just I'm kind of in that boat. Like, oh, high school fucking sucks.
Yeah, you know what? And that's the
It
thing.
really
It's
did. I'm okay. If you really want a full grand scale
like
of
I
the
don't know how.
difference between our education
Yeah.
levels, we have college graduate
Hi.
and high school dropout.
And you know what the thing
Hello.
is? It's like whatever, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know it sounds like I know it sounds try hard of me, but it's like honestly, I really just don't judge you at all for that.
Yeah. And
Cause
thank God for that.
well, dude, I mean, it's like sometimes it works for some people, sometimes it doesn't. For me personally, it worked out. I had a killer fucking high school, man. We had great electives, we had great clubs. I mean, we had a fucking DDR club for a little while. I headed the cartooning club for a while. There was a fucking cartooning class that I took where we learned
Hmm.
about like doing comics and political comics, persistence of vision, animation, all that stuff. You know, we had a creative writing class where all we did was watch Firefly.
Oh,
And then
jealous.
you want to know something? Our final
Hmm.
project was to get into a group of 6 people and basically write a fan script for an episode of Firefly.
Just write fan fiction.
That was
Oh
pretty much it.
man.
Let me tell you, Miss Winshock was great. She was the creative writing teacher, and she was the advisor for the anime club.
Oh man.
So let me tell you, her room, she loved anime. Her room was decked out in like wall scrolls and posters and all that fun stuff.
Weeaboo shit.
Yeah. And let me tell you, that was the coolest goddamn thing. And looking back, that's still the coolest goddamn thing. There were
Mm.
programming classes where we were learning QBasic because it was 2008 and
Hmm.
2007. But here's the thing, the class was too hard for me, and I ended every day crying. So I ended up dropping out of that class and taking a study hall instead.
Mm.
And in my senior year, like half my day was study halls, so I just drew like for 4 periods straight. My brother actually ended up like cutting classes so that he can work on his student film, and I think I've made you watch it before.
Yes,
Suburban
twice.
Reversal. Yeah, he cut classes to work on editing that thing.
Good. It is a masterpiece.
I didn't even know. Here's the thing. I did not know that we had Macs in our school until I took video and film. But our school had Mac computers in it. We had a Mac
Hmm.
lab. If that's any indication. One of our chemistry teacher would set methane bubbles on fire in the classroom
Oh. Oh no.
to show us chemical reactions.
Ugh.
So the thing is, I have no illusions about high school. I had a good high school, and the thing is, I appreciated that.
Mm.
And I
And I
appreciate
appreciate that too.
yeah, and
I'm glad you had a good experience with high school.
you know, I think it's also just good to know that there are good high schools out there, too.
Yeah,
So it's like,
it's definitely reassuring.
yeah. So that when there are people that say that they loved high school, you know that they must have had a good one, you know?
Hmm.
And you can, like, and that's the thing. It's like, I really wish that more schools could be like that. I really do.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody deserves, like, whatever chances they can get, or whatever. Like you know what? It's like they say, true equality is giving everybody the same chances, you know?
Yeah.
The same setup. And I really wish that it could be that way. And that's honestly, as somebody who's gone through a good high school and somebody who's gone through a good college, and I'm bringing it back around, that's why I try to put what I know out there, you know?
Hmm.
So that people who can't afford it or who aren't in a place where they can travel or anything like that, or who are doing it as a hobby, or, you know, they have other interests. Because I've seen some amazing artists who are majoring in stuff like biology or rocket science or mathematics, you know? Those
Hmm.
are, I'm thinking of three very specific artists when I say that. Shout out to the webcomic The Meek.
Hmm.
Even though that artist did once say that fan art doesn't count as real art. And I
Mm.
vehemently disagree with that. I'm also shout out to James, the odd ones out. He was a mathematics major, dropped out, but I like his stuff. And shout out to what was the last one I said? Rocket scientist Katie
Yeah.
Teedrich, who does Awkward Zombie. And I was,
Hey.
yeah, I was following them since they were Nico Yasha
Oh,
on DeviantArt.
goodbye.
Yep, Nico Yasha. Am I right?
Oh, jeez.
Oh man, but Katie Teedrich just got married actually.
Ooh,
Yeah,
good for
congrats,
them.
congrats to her. What I like is occasionally she would do like those one panel comics about like her life. There's three of them in particular. I think I linked them all to you before. But the first one is, "Whoa, Nelly! Katie is going to college." And then after that, Katie became a rocket scientist. Katie's a fucking rocket scientist, man, and she's doing like like fucking Super Smash Bros. Comics.
McSiggy, a marriage.
Aw, marriage. And then the next one was like, "Cool, Katie got married." And you know what? It's like I just like I like that I've been on the internet for so long, for like 15 years. I've been on the internet for 50. God damn, I'm old. I remember fan shrines
Hmm?
before community sites like DeviantArt existed.
Oh,
Before Facebook. If you look up Digimon fan shrines, you are gonna go on quite a trip.
oh man.
Also, Yu-Gi-Oh fan shrines. That's quite a trip too.
Fan shrines.
Fan shrines. Yeah, let me tell you, they're great. They're great. If you want to look at what because those were like little communities all of their own. And we should, you know, I should have a talk another time about like early 2000s internet communities.
Mm.
But I don't think I'll find anybody old enough to relate.
Oh, there are 30-year-olds on
I'm not
on the
30
internet.
yet.
Well,
I'm not 30 yet.
30-ish, almost.
Don't even call me 30-ish. I'm only 26. Shut up. I already had a bad enough realization when I turned 26 and I realized I was closer to 30 than I was to 20.
There are other quarter life crises
You fucking
people out
noob.
there.
Fucking what, you're 22? 21?
22.
22? 22-year-old noob. Fuck off. I'm gonna cry into my Dr. Pepper. Okay, so we're at the 7-minute mark.
Cool.
I think that we've, even with our tangents, I think our tangents were still relatable. That is
This
totally
has only
why
been
we
running
only
for
have
7 minutes?
what?
This has only been running for 7 minutes?
No. We have 7 minutes left.
Oh,
6
okay.
minutes left.
I'm like, wow.
6 minutes left now, actually,
Oh, okay.
because this is a short cast.
A.
Yeah, I don't believe I finished explaining. Mihe isn't here because Mihe is a busy college student who would like to take every other week to just work on stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but this week Mihe is actually very tired this week, and next week Mihe goes back home where the internet is not as good. So I was thinking of going solo next week, actually,
Hmm.
and giving the very few fans that I actually have what they want. And I told you, I apparently have people that are fans of my horror narration that I
Ooh.
haven't done in like a year. So I was thinking of going trawling through Reddit a bit, finding some scary stories, and narrating them while smashed as fuck.
Nice.
So I think that's what
I'll be tuning in.
yeah, I think that's what I'll do next week as a solo cast. Because, like I said, Mihe is going home where their internet is apparently very shitty, and they have like family there
Mm.
who would get bothered. So I respect that.
Mm.
But usually it'll be every other week is Mihe and myself because we are lovely saltmates for life. Anyway, Supa, I've been dominating the conversation. For our last 5 minutes, would you like to dominate the conversation and give any advice that you wish you had when you started out, both as a voice actor and as an artist?
Um, I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear that.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can, so they can too.
My my father and my mother are doing their own live stream in the living room. You're just playing rock music, so please ignore not ignore it, but just pardon it for
Just understand it.
yeah.
We have families that we live with because we're millennials.
Yes. Um so advice for people that I wish I had.
As someone who's
Um
self-taught, yeah.
uh ask other artists for advice. Ask them for I think the most important thing is to learn how to take critique.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
And
have an image for that.
oh man.
Do continue talking, because I do have an image for that.
Yeah, it is very important to understand the difference between critique and being attacked,
Here we go.
if that makes sense.
Criticism, like rain, should be gentle enough to nourish someone's growth without destroying their roots.
There you go. There's your what is it?
Advice?
Yes. I was trying to think of a philosopher real quick, but I can't.
I don't know which philosopher that I don't know which philosopher that would be either.
Hmm.
But
Like the Chinese
yeah.
one. What was his name?
Learn how to take critique and learn how to give it too. And if you can't take critique, like the same kind of critique that you give, then you might want to reevaluate like why this critique that you're giving bothers you when you're getting it.
Yeah.
And I think one last thing that I have to say, or two last things that I have to say, in the wise words of Miss Frizzle, what was it? It was like, get messy, make mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make mistakes. Mistakes are your best friend.
Yeah, and two, never be afraid to approach anyone.
Oh yeah.
If you want to know something about your favorite artist, like how they do something, just ask them. I mean,
Yeah.
worst case scenario, they just never answer you.
Yeah.
But
and that's what I was saying before, like you go out and ask for advice from other artists.
yes.
Get involved with other artists.
And if you see something like, say, a call for voice actors, just go for it. Supa.
Yes. Yeah.
You might just meet one of your besties that way.
Yeah. Go looking for it and take opportunities.
Yep. I think that's a good place to end on. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we might have we've got. I haven't gotten nearly drunk enough. I still have 3 cans of Dr. Pepper and the rest of my vodka, so I'm probably gonna blow through that while playing Stardew Valley.
Oh man.
But yeah. So final thoughts. Talk to If you admire someone, tell them that you think they're awesome because it'll most certainly make their day and they'll think about it when they're down. But also ask them for advice if you just like what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Because more than likely they'll be flattered and really want to share what they know because they've been bursting to do it and looking for an excuse. I mean, I know that that's what I do. But even if they don't, it's not the end of the world. At the end of the day, they're not judging you. They're probably just like thinking about how tired they are, you know?
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, just remember that everybody is just thinking about how everyone perceives them. They're not judging you. And that makes everything easier. Also,
Mm-hmm.
what makes everything easier, have I ever told you what I think about to make myself less scared of people?
Hmm.
That in this life, all humans share one experience. We all know what it's like to have painful acid glass shard shits. So you can be looking at the most beautiful woman in the world or the best artist you ever know and know that they have been plagued by something on the toilet that gave them the most painful acid glass shard diarrhea shits. They have been in that situation. You have been in that situation. And we all
Everyone's
know what
been
it's
in.
like because they're human too.
Yes. Very important.
And there you go. Hopefully that makes you less scared of people.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. We're at the top of the hour, 9:01, as far as my computer is concerned. Supa, have you had a good time?
Yes, most certainly.
Will you consider rejoining me again in future episodes?
Oh, definitely.
Because you and I have a lot to talk about. Because
Oh, we do.
I like to think you and I have shared like some important parts of our artistic journey. I know that you've been with me through most of my voice acting journey.
We have 5 years of it to
We have
cover.
5 years of a journey
Yes.
that has been covered with red lines, voice acting, critiques.
Mm-hmm.
McSiggy says, "Thank you for the great podcast."
E.
Hey, we're always ready to give it, Siggy.
Yeah.
Siggy's also one of my besties. Don't be mistaken that it sounds like I don't know who McSiggy is.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you everybody for joining us. Our audience may be small, but we really appreciate you.
Yep.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.